Hey everybody, welcome into Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We had just were speaking about Mardi Gras, and as we move into the Lenten season, we definitely want to wrap that up. We had spoken with the Dearborn Parish Sheriff's Department earlier on. We want to do the same thing with the Houma Police Department, and to do that, we'll bring in Chief Travis Terrio. We'll get to some of those stats earlier, but there was an incident today, actually, or on the 20th, of a shooting that's kind of a bizarre story.
Yeah, so this morning around 5:15 a.m., we responded to a report of a shooting in the 300 block of Roberta Grove. When they got there, they contacted the homeowner, said that he was upstairs in bed and he could hear something rustling, I guess, you could say on the first floor of the home. So he armed himself and went downstairs to investigate and see exactly what was going on. And whenever he went downstairs, he was confronted by an intruder with a flashlight. And he
in his own home.
In his own home, and he discharged a firearm, striking the suspect. At which time the suspect fled the scene on foot. And once we got officers on scene and they secured the home, determined that the suspect was no longer in there, it was immediately apparent that the suspect had been struck by at least one of the projectiles, because there was a pretty good amount of blood in the area, and they started trying to find him. And one thing I'd like to say is, I'm sure the residents of Roberta Grove wanted them to know that we put a lot of officers out in the area while we had that suspect going on, around bus pickup time, to make sure everything was secure and the kids could get off to school safely. But as the investigation continued, they were able to, my investigators, or our investigators, I should say, were able to identify the suspect as Dex Abear, also of East Houma, and eventually developed a location on in the 1200 block of Gibbs Street. So a couple of our investigators went over there and they attempted to make contact with him, and a female exited the home armed with a handgun. They were quickly able to safely take her into custody without incident and secure. At which time she advised the officers that he was inside the home, laying on a sofa, suffering from a gunshot wound. The officers then went into the home, and he couldn't be located, but it was almost like a hoarder's home, and there were a lot of nooks and crannies that they really couldn't see, and it was still unknown if he was armed with a weapon. Several announcements were made for him to exit the residence. He was informed that he was a wanted felon, and which time there was no response. He didn't comply. We then released our K9 Mario into the home, and he quickly was able to sniff him out and located him hiding under several mattresses, and was able to allow the officers to secure him without further incident. Dex was transported to a local medical facility. All his injuries were found to be superficial. He was treated and released into the custody of the police department, and he's been arrested for a simple burglary and a warrant for probation violation. Ty Corbett was arrested for a simple burglary, obstruction of justice, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, as she was also found to be involved with the burglary at the time. But I'd really like to commend the efforts of all of our responding officers and investigators and everyone that was involved, and even the citizens in the neighborhood that were, pretty welcoming and wanted to help.
Sure, like I say, I mean, they're trying to drop their kids off for the bus route, and they see all the police officers
But we were
around.
quickly able to resolve this. The suspect's in custody, and everything's going good.
So he was on foot and made it to where we're at?
He ran on foot from Roberta Grove all the way
With
to
a gunshot injury.
With a gunshot injury, yes.
So that's pretty incredible report too.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing. So and Mario is the dog that went in. And got him.
Yeah, he did a really good job. He was actually on the set not long ago, but he was a good boy today.
He was. Now, is that their residence? So you said it looked like it was a hoarder's home, or they kind of squatting there?
No, they were living there. That's where they were residing.
It just was hard to find.
That's right.
A lot of the stuff in there.
Yeah.
He was under a couple of mattresses.
Yeah.
yeah, good to have Mario on board to do
right.
that, and obviously we care about his health too, but it's better than having a person just flipping over mattresses where you don't know if somebody's armed.
Right, and what's most important is the safety of everybody involved, whether it's the suspect, the officers, and the safest way to do it is to utilize our canines for what they're trained to do, and that's help us locate and apprehend suspects in narcotics.
Right. Yeah, good result there. Let's talk about Mardi Gras, and it seemed like a good Mardi Gras. And there was an alarming report last year. It seemed like 25, 26 guns were picked up last year on the parade route. That number was way down in the parish for the sheriffs. And was it down for you as well?
Yes, it's definitely way down. I would have to say this Mardi Gras was an extreme success. We did have that one incident, the corner of Roussel and Main, right there on the corner where we had some gunshots that were fired. That suspect was taken into custody. The firearm was recovered. There were a couple other firearms recovered along the parade route, different locations. But all in all, I think it was everything we wanted it to be, and that was a safe, family-oriented, fun Mardi Gras that's good for Terrebonne Parish.
Right. No, without a doubt. But like even the summonses and the fights, those kind of things were down.
Yeah. Oh, it was down. I would say, I don't have the exact numbers, but I would say we were less than 10 for all of Mardi Gras, and that's all specifically parade-related incidents.
Right.
Our officers did an outstanding job. There's not enough I can say about them. They were great with the public. They had smiles on their faces. It looked like everyone enjoyed themselves. We started off Hercules in the first parade. We started off with a prayer, and I think God was on our side this year because we probably had some of the biggest crowds I've seen, and it was great. It was really awesome.
That is great, and that's one thing we can do in Louisiana is throw a good parade, right?
That's right. Yep.
All right, Travis Theriault, thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.